T-Dog, J-Boy, and me, I'm Lugs. Our pride and joy is pumping our mugs. Be careful, kids, it could get rough. We're flipping our lids on sports and other stuff.
Welcome to Sport Weasel Central. I'm Lugs.
I'm J-Boy.
And I'm T-Dog.
Yes, sir, fellas. How are you? Good to see you. Wow. Hey, wait, before we get started, this one. You know why the Cyclops was a bad teacher?
Why?
He only had one pupil.
Oh, jeez.
All right, but that's enough about that. It's the Final Four. If we were in basketball, this would be the Final Four. Detroit travels to San Francisco, and the Chiefs go to Baltimore. Lugs, really no surprises from last week's games, I don't think, in my opinion. I mean, that's who we thought would win, don't you think? Take it away.
Yeah, pretty much. I think we went chalk. I'm a little bit more on the Lions bandwagon now.
What?
I know. I know. I've never been one who was especially fond of Jared Goff.
You hate the NFC North in general. You just hate the North even.
Well, hate's a strong word, but let's just say
dislike.
I'm not tippling any beers for those boys. Anyway, I was happy to see the Lions, and they've got their moments with the guy who's been there for 66 seasons and bought all those tickets and all of that. I mean, that was wonderful to see. But to me, the interest to me was 49ers, Packers. I'm sorry, 49ers did not win that game. Packers lost that game. They should have won that sucker. So that's sort of my initial takes from the weekend. What do you think, Dog?
Oh man, like we're not even talking about. Like, look, there were two really good games. Even though I will say the Bucks Lions game was compelling for the most part, but very late Lions pulled away. But come on, guys, like Kansas City Chiefs, Buffalo Bills, that's like another instant classic game.
True.
And it was, it maybe wasn't as high scoring as like 2 years prior, where essentially they lost because of a coin flip, but it was back and forth, and Josh Allen playing at his high level. Patrick Mahomes, I know neither of their numbers by their standards are overwhelming, but they both played exceptionally well in a high-pressure game, particularly Patrick Mahomes on his first, road game. Maybe they punted a few times, but for the most part, they systematically scored on most of their drives, even if it was, they only scored, I think, 3 offensive touchdowns, 2 passes to Travis Kelce from Patrick Mahomes. One where I forget who busted the coverage on the touchdown that put them up 13-10. I mean, Travis Kelce was wide open. And then the other one was just a screen dump off, and it was a great effort by Travis Kelce to punch his way in. But, he played great. And, you feel bad for Buffalo fans because it's one thing to lose, their third game against this Chiefs team, but to then have the kick go wide right.
The old wide right.
Yeah, just to echo in the pain that kind of started this feeling of a curse over this Bills team. I don't know if this probably doesn't give a lot of solace to Bills fans. I will say, if you kind of look at that game, you had 2 bullets dodged in the McCole Hartman fumble that went out of bounds, became a touchback.
Yep.
And then on that drive where the kick did go wide right on Tyler Bass, Josh Allen had a fumble where at least like 3 KC guys it felt like they had their hands on it, and somehow I think it was Spencer Brown for the offensive line of the Bills. He came up with it. So, you could say, oh, it's bad luck. Look, you had two horseshoes kind of given to you in spots. Maybe, I don't know if the football guys were telling you you need to try to punch it in. You can't, go for a field goal. But whatever. Anyways, I think that was the most compelling game of this weekend.
Scott Norwood, right, was the old Jim Kelly days wide right kicker. Yikes. And two other factoids. Bills, Chiefs, 58 or 56 million people watched that game. Ridiculous. And then third point, in Patrick Mahomes' career, he has played in the AFC Championship game every year in his 6-year career. That's ridiculous. Lugs, he wins again. I'm going. He's the best of all time.
Well, I think without a doubt. But for me, the highlight of that game was Jason Kelsey's showing me his chest. I love that.
The beer belly?
He's up there with Tay-Tay and just showing his man breasts. I was just crazy, man. You got to love a guy who'll jump out a window, pick up kids and say, hey, Taylor, come here.
Jumping in and out of the press box or whatever.
Kowtowing to her. And Jason's just a guy that's there to drink beer, And
tailgating in the parking lot with the Bills fans before the game.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
You got to love that guy.
You do.
You got to. So, anyway, I just think Buffalo is snake bit. Sean McDermott got him there. Now it's time to get yourself another coach. Bring in somebody that can put it all together for you, because you're wasting, again, like Jim Kelly and that former era. You're just wasting Josh Allen at this point. It's crazy to waste a guy. Think about it. If Josh Allen was on the Chiefs team, no doubt about it, Super Bowl champions multiple times. He just had the bad luck of not getting
the
to
ghost of Marv Levy, huh?
Yeah.
If Marv Levy's still alive, come on now.
Is he? Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry, Marv. If you're a friend of the show, we'll get back to you. Hello, Marv. You there? Caller. Hello.
The one fan from the Marv Levy fan club got him in.
No, he was. I want to say he was out there before the playoff game. I don't know if it was. I forget if it was this one or the week prior.
No, dog. That was Bud Grant flipping that coin in the sub-zero weather a couple years ago. That wasn't Marv Levy.
Marv Levy's still alive.
That's Bud Grant. Comes out in a golf shirt and it's 7 below. I love that. Yeah. All right. So I don't know. It's great. I agree, Lugs. They are snake bitten. You hate it. It's a cursed franchise, kind of like a Cleveland situation. I wish I knew what to do. I just don't want them to waste away on the vine. I hope they can get better. And maybe McDermott's not the answer.
So I want to spin this question to you all. I'm not even disagreeing with you all that maybe that is the thing to do. Who do you replace him with? Who's available?
Lots of guys on the table right now. I don't know. Lugs, what do you think?
Well, Harbaugh. Bring in Harbaugh.
I think unfortunately it sounds like he's already locked in. Well, you're right. I mean, they could make like a last heave ho. I think the people that are probably quote unquote available still, I'd say Ben Johnson,
Detroit,
the Detroit Lions offensive coordinator. I think he would be the one that makes the most sense, right? But
I think he'll leave this year.
Again, would you agree? Like, if you're like, hey, do you want to leave Detroit? Which again is a great gig. I'm not saying that, but hey, do you want to leave Detroit and coach Josh Allen, one of the ultimate super freak quarterbacks who also can play at a high level? I think most people would be like, yeah, I'll take a bite.
Yeah, right? but I'm assuming that McDermott will still be there because Buffalo, they're very loyal. They're not going to get rid of him. I'm just thinking of Ben Johnson, looking big picture for next year. If I were he, I would not move from Detroit until the year after.
But you brought up the hypothetical though that he would, like who you get rid of him now. So I was going with that hypothetical. Then if you get rid of McDermott now, get Ben Johnson, because you want to build around Josh Allen and create an offense that really features all the aspects of Josh Allen-ness. And particularly think about this. Ben Johnson really knows how to use tight ends. Bills have two good tight ends in Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid, the rookie, who really came on late in the second half of this year. So,
yeah, I've got no argument with that. But looking at practical, it's just like that you've got to be frustrated to be a Buffalo fan for sure.
Well, I look at it like this. So I'm going back a little bit of history, and I'm going to switch over to baseball just because it's in my recent knowledge. Mid-2010s, the Cubs are building this team, and they have Rick Renteria as their manager. And he's our guy. All of a sudden, Joe Madden's available. They fire Renteria on the spot and hire Joe Madden, and then within a year, they win the World Series. They had the nucleus. They had the team. They just didn't have their guy or a different type of leadership. Is what's happening? Is that what's happening in Buffalo, you think? It's like we've got our team, we've got our nucleus. Our guy is just not the guy to take us over the edge.
Well, I think that's fair. McDermott, has, because Buffalo was in the doldrums there for quite a while.
Oh, yeah, for real.
So
I think the thing that's very odd to me about the McDermott thing, where I can him and Hall going both ways, I think you look at how many key pieces they didn't have in the game Sunday. And it's a credit to him as a coach, like being able to, they were able to, and like, again, this isn't the case, the offense is old, but still they were able to stay in it, basically going against the best quarterback in the league today, right? You kind of holding him to 27, you're kind of happy with missing all these vital pieces. So like, it is a respect to McDermott and what he's known for, his defenses. But I just think, is Joe Brady the guy who's really going to unlock the high level Josh Allen? Don't you want to build around an offensive minded head coach?
Gotcha.
Right. Since that's the strength of the team, like you should try to have a coach who really can enhance that strength to its apex. And that's what I worry about with Josh Allen is that is your key vital cog. And I don't know if you're going to get the best out of him with McDermott. And, they're gonna have to like start changing the makeup of this team. Is Diggs going to be back? So I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So, do you want to reflect on the games last week, or shall we move forward? Your thoughts on that?
No, we could. What is Lugs? So you want to talk about what's your big takeaways from the Packers 49ers?
The fact that you can run on the 49ers. You can also just make Brock Purdy very uncomfortable. I was really kind of shocked at how much Aaron Jones just dominated that game. I mean, think about it. And when we look ahead here with the Lions, I think if Gibbs had been running that one long run that Aaron Jones got, he would have left all those guys behind because he's just much faster. So I was just, like I say, shocked at how bad they were at stopping the run. And the Pack, my goodness, for all those very, very young guys, it's just it's amazing. It's amazing what they've done. I got to give, and I've lambasted LaFleur on several occasions, but I got to give it to him. He managed. He had a good game plan, and they got their moments. Jordan Love, that final pass, that was like total rookie sort of guy stuff there. But anyway, they had their shot.
Yeah, I guess I'll start off with the main thing that concerns J-Boy and me so much long term is in terms of like, because Lugs is talking about eating crow. I don't know, Jay Boy, did they get a third guy in a row at quarterback?
They did. Yep. 30 years, 3 quarterbacks so far. Yep, sir.
So
career boy, he's your guy.
Congratulations. Wrong on Jordan Love. I did say I thought he'd be good, but I don't think he'd be a guy who has a chance at a gold jacket after his first year as a starter. Again, I know it's 1 year, but it's such an exceptionally good year that it's like, oh no, not again.
Go Pack, go, baby. That's what we say.
Credit to again LaFleur, who I did believe in. So I'm not going to eat crow on LaFleur. I always was a fan of LaFleur and his offense. You kind of see, again, I know we like poke holes at Aaron Rodgers. This was a team that was willing to run the plays that LaFleur had and not audible out of them because I'm the biggest genius in the world. Like Love actually is executing the offense as it is meant to be. And shockingly, once it got to like week 8, it was like one of the most prolific offenses in the NFL once it got humming. And a big credit was Aaron Jones once he really got back. I believe this was his 4th game with over 100 yards rushing. So he really, he missed a lot of the year with hamstrings, and he kind of played spots in here. But once he got humming, like it elevated them even more. And, like we said, like they're young guys, and Romeo Dobbs stepped up, and Jaden Reed. And the scariest thing is Christian Watson, who maybe he never becomes what it felt like he kind of hinted at as a rookie. Maybe he's always just going to have these hamstring injuries. He's just too explosive, that he's always banged up. But, like, the scary thing is if he gets his body right, I mean, watch out for this Packers offense. It was already good, but like I think he just elevates it. And I again, kind of going with rookie tight ends, it's going to be a theme of shockingly a lot of these teams that are involved this far in the playoffs. Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft both look like absolute steals where the Packers got them. And I'll agree with you. Brock Purdy did struggle a little bit. I think the rain had a lot to do with his struggles, and losing Debo early on was a huge factor. And kind of going back to what Lugs is kind of hinting at next week, it sounds like Debo's 50-50. That's not good for 49ers because I think he just adds so much to their offense as just a change up to Christian McCaffrey that they really do need Debo to kind of unleash the full might of what this offense can be, and just really kind of putting the pedal to their opponent and putting the pressure on their opponent. So
what's his status?
He's 50-50. Yeah. McCaffrey, since the trade last year, just absolute clutch. And the big reason they really won this game is just him being the best running back currently last year and this year. He carried this team for the most part on offense. So, and Kittle. But I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on the game, Jay Boy?
Well, yeah. I mean, man. First of all, back to your Packer thing. I think they have found their guy in Jordan Love. Number 1, number 2. The Niners look beatable. I want to throw this out to you guys. Eventually, does Detroit have a shot? It looks like they might, which scares me, which is impressive, which would be just kind of mind-blowing if Detroit actually gets in the Super Bowl. Do we actually can say those words? Crazy. And then I think on the other side, just looking ahead, I think Lamar is maybe unbeatable. And so sure of himself that I don't know that Kansas City can beat him, but I'll just leave that there, and I'll let you guys talk that over.
Well, we want to talk about the essentially conference championships that we're talking or whatever.
Oh, you just want to do a very light look at the last 2 games?
Yeah.
Lugs, Houston, Baltimore. And Bucks and Lions. Is one more interesting to you than the other? Do you want to tee off on it first?
What I thought it was a tale of two halves, really, because the Ravens in the first half, my goodness, it was like, what happened to you guys? And apparently, Lamar went in and he basically said there was a lot of cussing going on, and apparently he was the one doing the cussing, and they came back. They came back out, and it was like a different team. And if he didn't solidify his position for MVP, I don't know how he would do it. I mean, 2 passing, 2 running, and there were that one run where he runs in between those 2 guys. I mean, they had him dead. I mean, they had him dead to rights, and he was just gone. But I got to give it to the Texans. D'Amico Ryans, he's got to be considered for Coach of the Year for sure. C.J. Stroud, he's got to be Rookie of the Year, don't you think? I mean,
that's locked.
Yeah, got to be.
Yeah. So it was like looking at the future in a lot of ways. I mean, what you're getting now is we've had this like sea change at quarterback in the AFC for sure. NFC, they're still statues throwing the ball basically when you look at them. But anyway, that game was it was interesting. I think more interest for me was I was just tuning in the second half to just see, okay, are they going to wake up? What's going to happen with the Ravens? So, yeah, you can't beat this time of year in the NFL for sure. But sometimes you do have a moment where teams are flat, but they came back.
And
so
Lamar's still running into the clubhouse, isn't he? He's still running down that ramp. He's just going.
Yeah,
he just took off.
That's a Forrest Gump move. They're really Forrest Gump.
Or Bo Jackson in the Kingdom, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm just going.
So,
good stuff.
Yeah, I'll be real quick on this game too, since it became a clubber in the second half. Kind of like what Lug said, just Lamar. Again, it's all the people that still think Lamar is the guy of old. I'm glad some of the narrative is over. He finally won a game at home.
Yes.
He played well, and again, this is where it really pays off on like how he's been more selective now that he's gotten older. During the season, he's not running as much, so that if they get in the postseason, he's going to unleash everything because there's nothing to lose at this point, right? So he's gonna pull the Corvette out of the garage and let it fly. So like him using his legs in the second half, even actually in the first half, the Nelson Aguilar pass touchdown was set up by like some huge runs by Lamar, and just but again, if you watch some of his passes, just on some of his conversions, the Bateman and Justice Hill, like he is a developed and nuanced passer. I know his numbers in terms of yardage weren't significant, but he is playing, in control, and he has even though they're young, it's a very talented Texas defense that he carved up, and I agree with you all. Like Kansas City is going to have to play their top tier game to beat this Baltimore team, and this Baltimore team still has to make a mistake. I just think that's the disparity in terms of like how the offense and defense for the Ravens are operating in comparison to how the offense for KC, even though it's played better in this postseason, it's still not clicking 100% in my opinion.
And plus, we talk about the Ravens offense a lot, but that's a world-class all-pro defense by the Ravens too, with Roquan Smith and Queen.
Speaking of coaching openings, Mike McDonald, it's crazy. I haven't seen him linked to anyone yet, but it feels like he's going to be one of those guys who's going to get a job because just what he is doing with the defense. And the scary thing for next week is possibly Mark Andrews is back.
Right.
To go with Isaiah Likely, who has emerged in this period where Mark Andrews has been injured. So that just adds another weapon to this Ravens team that's looked like a juggernaut.
Excellent.
So, Lugs, what do you? Not that you have to bring a whole lot. What about Detroit Bucks?
Woohoo! Tampa Bay. Baker.
Well, like I said, I've got new respect for the Lions and Goff, but I got to give it to the Bucks. They had their moments. Baker probably will be retained there.
He'll get a paycheck, won't he? He'll get a good little contract. I hope he does.
I was totally impressed with the Lions' offense. Their defense, well, they have Hutchinson and I've forgotten the other guy on the other side of the line. So they have a good core there, but their secondary, I'm not so sure about. So that could be an issue.
Yeah.
But that was sort of my takeaway. It was, and you got to love Dan Campbell. I mean, he's a soundbite machine.
Well,
so
he's just a cutaway every time, right? They just put the camera on him. He's a cutaway after every play. You want to read his lips. You want to read his lips.
And anytime they ask him any question, it's like 15 seconds, boom, 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 and he gets to it. It's hilarious.
You're right. You're right. Love that.
I think my main takeaway is just this. They have like that offense that's like a Swiss Army knife. Like Tampa is really hard to run against for the most part. They're secondary suspect, particularly when like Jamal Dean goes out, and like you had I'm trying to look up the poor defender's name who was
Lewis. Was that Lewis?
No, his I'm trying to see his name because he probably had the most tackles on the team or one of them. Zindeman or whatever. Zion McCollum. That poor guy was targeted at nauseum by Jared Goff. But again, that's what smart quarterbacks do. They find the weak link and they just keep hit the repeat button over and over again. And they already won the game, but like the touchdown that put it out of reach, that was a perfectly thrown ball to Amon-Ra St. Brown. It was a fade, and it was like a bucket throw where it perfectly fell into Amon-Ra's hands, and Amon-Ra showed his hands late, so the DB couldn't react to it. It was a perfect like kill shot to put the game away for him. But again, it also just a credit to the front office for Detroit. Two of their biggest key factors in this game, Sam Laporta, who I don't even know how he's playing. I mean, you all saw the injury he had before the season was over.
Wicked.
And then he had 9 catches for 65 yards. And then Jahmyr Gibbs had 74 yards rushing on just 9 attempts and, 40 yards receiving. And I don't know. I know we'll get to the predictions here in a second, but if they really commit to the run with those two hammers of Montgomery and Gibbs, I think the Lions have a shot.
I think you're right. First of all, you do have that 1-2, thunder and lightning running back attack. St. Brown is a world-class 1A, a number one receiver, I think now, by this point in the season. And then I'm going to throw out a name we talked about on this program. Yeah. We said, high draft pick, everybody should get him. Guess who got him? Penei Sewell. Mm-hmm. You watch him, he's a highlight reel. He puts guys, he's a man among boys over there on the line, and he makes Goff's life so much easier and might be the best key component to me on that whole offense.
I mean, that's true. Like, again, the 49ers, you can make a case that Trent Williams is the most important part of their offense.
Yeah.
So, Penei Sewell, you might be right. But Penei Sewell might be the best part of the offense. So, one other guy I just want to give a shout-out to on the opposite side. Actually, two. Baker Mayfield, I know we're giving him flowers again. I just want to give him one more flower. He had a bad interception to end the game. But the interception early on was not his fault. It was a ball that was volleyballed up by Mike Evans and then caught. But, for a guy to be able to resuscitate his career where it looked like he was headed to Backupsville, credit to him. But the main guy on that offense I want to give credit to, who was key to them making the playoffs, and particularly when you think about how much dead money they're dealing with Tom Brady this year, that they even made the playoffs is impressive to Todd Bowles and his coaching staff. But Mike Evans.
Yep.
I mean, this is a man who is in a contract year, and this is what you do in your contract year. He had 1,200 yards. I believe he had like 12 or 13 touchdowns during the regular season. And in this game, he essentially willed this team to stay in it with his 147 yards receiving and a touchdown late to give them a shot to, maybe, upset this Detroit Lions team. So I just want to give a shout out to Mike Evans, one of quietly the best receivers of my lifetime.
Well, and quietly and unknown to most of us, and not by many, 10 or 11 straight seasons of 1,000 or more yards receiving.
Yes.
Unheard of. Maybe the first to do it, certainly among the few.
I believe there's one other one. I'm blanking on who
maybe
it is,
Randy Moss or somebody spectacular who's a Hall of Famer. But
it's definitely you are right. It's definitely a gold jacket guy. So like anyone who's poo-pooing Mike Evans, I don't know. I don't
know either. Lugs, you want to do sports of yesteryear, and then we'll come back and do our predictions? Does that sound good?
Sure.
All right, stand by. Here comes the big open. All right, it's sports of yesteryear with our man Lugs. He's out and about in the field. He's going to tell us about cool stuff that happened a long, long time ago. Something like that. Here he comes. Here's Lugs now. Go, Lugs.
All right. 1947 NFL adds fifth official, the back judge, and allows sudden death in playoffs. 1964, CBS purchases 64 and 65 NFL TV rights for a then record of $28.2 million. That wouldn't even buy you the first commercial these days. 1982 Super Bowl, Pontiac Silverdome. San Francisco 49ers beat Cincinnati Bengals 26-21. MVP Joe Montana, San Francisco quarterback. 2010 AFC Championship, Lucas Oil Stadium, Indianapolis. Colts beat New York Jets 30-17. 2016 NFC Championship, Bank of America Stadium, Charlotte. The Carolina Panthers beat Arizona Cardinals 49-15. That's sort of your NFL sports of yesteryear for this time around. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lugs. Wait, $28 million for what? The rights in 1964 to the NFL? That's all?
64 and 65.
2 seasons.
So they got it for $14 million a year. I'm serious, Super Bowl commercials this year will be, the 2 or 3 commercials, and you've already paid for the whole year if you can get it that.
But that was 50 years
remember.
ago. That was
surely it was $1 billion.
Yeah, would have been. Yeah.
So
wow, that's incredible. I love those little factoids. That's good stuff. All right, so we've got the big games. The first one is at 3:00. Jim Nantz and Tony Romo at the controls. Kansas City at Baltimore. What do you guys think of that?
Go, dog.
I just say currently the line is not that Lugs is betting on this game, but currently the line is 3.5 point favorite. The Ravens are negative 3.5 favorite. Am I doing that right, Lugs? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
you'll get 3.5 with Kansas City if you bet them. So
yeah, like I said, Mahomes is the best, but we've seen again. This is the thing about Baltimore is, and maybe you all know it off the top of your head. What, they've beaten 12 teams with above 500 records this year, or is it 11? Is it 12?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's an absurd amount. It has to be
good teams.
That's what I'm saying. But yeah, and that's the thing is Detroit, who, let's say they get into the Super Bowl at Baltimore, they absolutely shellacked and destroyed.
Right.
The 49ers, who they might see in the Super Bowl, they absolutely destroyed.
Good point.
That was sad.
That was at Santa Clara.
Yeah.
That wasn't in Baltimore. So I just look, if any team can do it, it's Patrick Mahomes being locked in. Like Mecole Hardman, and it sounds like Tony's practicing, and these guys who have been absolute thorns in Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes' sides all year. where all they do is screw up. That's all they do. They don't catch balls because I think they lead the league in drops. All they do is like bat the ball up for interceptions, or like McCole Hartman, they fumble it into the end zone for touchback. They don't make touchdowns. They don't make first downs. They just make screw ups. If they can get locked in, they have a shot. Because that, again, the big credit to KC all year is they've had one of the best defenses. So maybe they can stifle Lamar enough to stay in it. But I'm going to have to go with Baltimore. Again, they've been such a juggernaut this year. And like I said, I think I said last week, after he got paid, I think Lamar has been locked in to really, he proved all the doubters wrong on like him holding out and, doing what he did to get his contract. Now he's doing the second half of the revenge tour. He is going to shut up everyone like that he can't win a Super Bowl. And it feels like it's on that way. And it's bizarre because it feels like Michigan. So you have these two Harbaugh brothers like on these teams that have essentially feel like teams of destiny in two different football leagues. And it just feels that way. So I'm going Baltimore.
I'm going to agree with you on that. The ghost of Johnny Unitas, the ghost of Earl Morrall, those old Baltimore Colts days, that's all living there, man. The stadium's going to be rocking. It looks like a crazy place to watch a game anyway. Lamar has a big chip on his shoulder to disprove everybody. And he's on fire. I mean, absolutely on fire. And I think he's fearless. And I think he's so confident. I don't think he can be stopped. And like you mentioned, they spanked those other teams earlier this year. I think this could be real close or really a blowout by Baltimore. So I'm going with the Ravens all the way on that as well. All right, 6:30 on Fox. We've got Kevin Burkhardt. Lugs. Jeez, Lugs. I didn't know you were there. I thought you left to get a cup of coffee, man.
Well, so, you guys have covered it. I think Baltimore has this one all the way. I think Kansas City's luck has run out. They got some of the guys caught. Rashee Rice is a positive for them, and Travis Kelce looks like he's back to form. I don't think that man's been healthy this year. Something's just not been right with him.
Yes.
But they'll have to play, and Pacheco will have to play out of his mind.
And he's banged up right now. So
yeah, and Baltimore, speaking, they're not really injured. They're not beat up.
Nope.
They're in good shape physically. So I think Baltimore, I think Baltimore will win by at least 10 points. I think that once they get the momentum, they're not going to let up. Lamar certainly won't. Because, he, like you said, he is out to prove something, and he's going to get it done. So I'm going Baltimore.
And your phone is getting warm in your hand right now. Isn't it wanting that FanDuel, ESPN bets? Something is just going, whoa. I need that 10 points. Okay, good. 6:30 on Fox. Kevin Burkhardt, and probably Greg Olson's last game with Kevin Burkhardt, right? From what we know, because Tom Brady's coming in next year.
Yeah.
You got your NFC Championship game. So you got Detroit Lions at San Francisco in Santa Clara. Kevin and Greg on the call. How do you guys like this one? T-Dog.
I'm going to have
Lugs. Somebody. Lugs, go ahead. Go.
You go, Lugs.
I'm going to have to go with my new favorite, Jared Goff.
Yeah.
All right.
I just think I don't think Debo will be back for this. And if he is, he's not going to be very effective because that was a lick he took.
It's a shoulder, right? Shoulder?
Yeah. I know that he's a big man. He's in good shape, but still, that was tremendous. So I think he'll try to play, but I don't know how effective he'll be. Plus, this week, the Lions signed Zach Ertz.
Yeah, they did. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? You think he'll play? You think he'll suit him up, get him on the roster?
I think they might.
I think so,
I mean,
too.
I don't know how many snaps. I don't think he'll have a lot of snaps, but
why wouldn't you? You brought him in.
X Factor.
Yeah,
X Factor.
I don't think Laporta is quite healed up. I think he's going off of youth at this point.
I think it's more right their backup tight end. I think I got banged up because Laporta is playing because he's a lunatic.
Crazy,
Right.
Somehow.
So
I love that. I love Zach.
Yeah, I think Detroit has a shot. And come on, it would be just magic for Dan Campbell to be in a Super Bowl. It would be quote after quote after quote. It would be great. So
it'd be a fun story,
Detroit.
wouldn't it? Yep.
Well, 49ers are starting off. The spread is the 49ers by 7.
Wow.
And
I'm taking a piece of that action.
Whoa, Nelly.
I get it because you do look at Detroit's defense, and I think Luggs brought it up. Their secondary is susceptible. So even if Debo doesn't play, Ayuk has, I believe he made not first team, but I believe he was a second team All-Pro, and he deserved it with the way he played this year. And just George Kittle, he's just shown time and time again in big moments they give him the spotlight to kind of show what he can do. And it sounds like the weather should be optimal. It won't be like what it was for the Green Bay game. But again, like Luggs pointed out, this Lions team, like how they usually like to play. And they're going to have to do it because you want to keep that 49ers pass rush off them. They have the running backs to really kind of, put it to them and, then do some play action off of it and hit Amon-Ra St. Brown or Laporta or their newly minted 34-year-old or whatever he is, Zach Ertz. Get him involved. But I'm going to have to go with the 49ers. My heart is with the Lions for my brother who's a fan. I want the Lions to win, but I feel, again, I'm going to wuss out and save the 49ers.
Ah, man, you gave it up. Yeah. Zach Ertz is 33. He's married to that soccer superstar, Julie. Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I'm going Luggs on this one, man. Go with your heart. I think Jared Goff's going to play out of his mind. He has a big chip on his shoulder to prove I'm still the man. I like how he's kind of a quiet leader. He's not too verbose. He's not too, in your face. And I love the pieces and parts they have. I think they've got it just right, and they can throw a lot of stuff at you. So I'm going with my heart and with against history and saying the Detroit Lions will play in the Super Bowl, which I don't think we picked that one for sure. Preseason. I don't think we had that.
And I will give you all this. The thing that gives me more pause, too, is as good as the 49ers are, I think by the end of the year, the Rams were playing at a higher level offensively, and they were able to stifle them enough. And I think we all agree Matt Stafford is – look, I think we all like Purdy, but Matthew Stafford is definitely clearly better than Purdy, right?
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
So that they were able to kind of stifle him a little bit does give me pause. You know what? Let's make it all three of us.
Yes.
Y'all swung me over. If I take an L on this one, I take an L on this. I want to rock with.
I'm calling Bet MGM right now.
Yeah, let's do it. Y'all swayed me.
Absolutely right. You got to go with the Detroit team. Come on, man. Get that Detroit-style pizza. Let's go.
And think about it. This would be the 1958 game, Baltimore, Detroit.
No kidding.
It's like, come on. It was 70 years in the making or something like that. You know what I mean? They can sell this one, and it won't matter because people are going to see this. They're going to enjoy this. No, if it does turn out to be those two teams.
And the Super Bowl will be on CBS with Hello Jim Nance and Tony Romo. February 11th.
Which one of you pointed out? Oh, I think it was J Boy. I after watching that Kansas City Buffalo game, I got to agree with you. Like Tony Romo at this point,
he wears you out.
He
wears you out.
I understand what you like about him, Luggs. Where I enjoy anyone who can make Jim Nantz uncomfortable, because I just think, I forget if you call Kevin Burkhardt white bread. At least he's kind of early in his career. He can still have time to adjust. Jim Nantz is who he is. He's super white bread. So,
oh yeah,
like he's Wonder Bread, and it's just like, God, it pains me that they're getting the Super Bowl, because I think of the major networks, they're easily the one I like the least. They're still not bad, but I'm just saying, of the 4 options.
Yeah, and I can't stand
number 4.
Coach Cowher on the pregame. I cannot stand him.
Who?
Coach Cowher, the old Steelers coach.
Oh,
Bill Cowher.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We're talking pre-games.
Yeah.
You wouldn't talk about white bread. White bread all across.
Phil Simms.
Like, no personality whatsoever. Where on Fox, again, Terry maybe doesn't know a lot of the players' names.
He doesn't remember anything.
He's got charisma. Michael Strahan has charisma.
I like.
Look,
Michael.
they have their wooden plank in Howie Long.
Howie,
but
are you talking to me now? Are you talking to me?
But again, they have Jimmy can get mad. He gets kind of like cranky about certain things. So that's what I'm saying, is they have some like juice, at least on elements of it, right? Like across the board from left to right. And the sad thing is Phil Simms, if you listen to him outside of it, he has a lot of personality, but I don't know what they do in that CBS studio where like no one say anything exciting at all.
Well, I think Boomer makes him mad, and Simms makes Boomer mad. I think they don't like each other. That's my impression.
No, they love each other.
They do? All right.
They actually do, yeah. They're like good friends.
Because, in a couple of years, I can't remember, ABC gets the game, and that'll be Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. But I have a question for you boys about this. If we're talking about pregame for 30 seconds, why did Scott Van Pelt become popular? Can anybody help me with that? I find the guy
he's one
marginal.
goony looking dude.
Marginal.
That's why he got popular?
Not very good. Not very good. He's a goony. You're a goony looking dude.
It's kind of like the Pat McAfee.
Right.
ESPN's going for the Goonie,
You might have something there. I don't know. Maybe that's their thing. Maybe that's their niche, is just get the goodiest, most bizarre people. I don't know. But
it's just weird. I don't like him. I don't get that pregame. I don't get him as a host. I don't get a lot. It just, I struggle with that.
Again, I agree with you on that one, J-Boy.
Okay. Anything else? So we'll have a Detroit, Baltimore Super Bowl.
I was just going to say,
from Las Vegas.
Vic Fangio, we hardly knew ye. I mean, what's that deal? They got rid of him there in the old Dolphins. So,
wait a minute. What? They got rid of him? When does this happen?
Just like a couple of hours ago.
Breaking news.
Oh, man. Yeah. Lugs, like you're the Adam Schefter of our group, or is it? Would you prefer to be Jay Glazer?
Shefty,
or Ian Rappaport?
Shefty, come in. Shefty.
Ian Rappaport, just because I don't even know what that guy looks like. Jay Glazer, he's about as tall as a fire hydrant.
Damn, man.
Damn.
They stand him on a box.
Get your hands
They literally
up in
stand
front
him on
and
a box.
catch the football.
But anyway.
Well, here it comes. I don't know what the deal is. He's going to become the Eagles' new defensive coordinator.
Ooh, well, they got to do something over there. We know that.
Yeah. So, well,
Sirianni's just trying to save his job. We know that too.
They need an offensive coordinator, as far as I'm concerned.
His name was,
of course, Patricia.
He's coaching in Indianapolis right
Patricia?
now. Patricia.
Where's Patricia?
Yeah.
He's finally, helping build rockets. I don't know if that makes you feel better.
Yeah.
Finally he's using that.
He was gone, but before the third quarter of that last game.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, okay. Anything else, fellas, or are we good today? What's happening? We done? We got our predictions in? We're ready?
I think we're done. I just want to say, just real quick, it's just also in terms of breaking news, Adam Schefter broke that Jim Harbaugh is set to leave Michigan and accept the Chargers head coaching jobs. Thoughts?
Hey, I said,
real quick.
I told you, he had to go. He had to go to the Chargers because he gets back to California. He's out of that bad weather, up there in Michigan.
And he coached Stanford before, right?
Yeah.
And also San Diego State.
Yeah.
An Aztec.
So
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Harbaugh you heard it here first on Sports and Other Stuff. Your favorite podcast.
Via Adam Schefter. You heard it.
Oh, Shafty, are you there, Shafty?
But I will say this. My only thing is, I know we laud him enough. Don't get me wrong, but how great is Justin Herbert? Because, you look at the Spanos family, historically, not that great to work for.
Right.
You look at their roster, I believe they're around $40 million over budget for next year. I mean, I know they'll cut to get below that, but you're not going to have a lot of talent there.
You're going to be cutting to the bone.
It just really comes down to Harbaugh is like, I have a quarterback, which is a great starting point, but it's like, man, after a quarterback, you really don't have a lot.
All bone and no meat there. They'll be cutting that baby up. You're right. I wanted to mention, rest in peace, Charles Osgood, CBS News forever. Famously used to say, see you on the radio. Charles Osgood. All right, that'll bring to a close this edition. We're tearing this one up because we made our predictions and we're great. This has been Sports and Other Stuff, brought to you in part by Swendella Bread, not Wonder Bread. At 3 in the morning, when you're in bed, Swendella bakers are baking that bread. And that's the reason it tastes so good. It's oven-fresh Swendella, as it should. He's a guy, he's a baker, he's our guy. His name is, he's there now.
Fish. And since 8 years ago this week, the final chapter of Peyton Manning-Tom Brady rivalry came to a close in the 2015 AFC Championship game, Fish is hosting a tailgate party to honor arguably the greatest matchup in NFL history. Manning won their last meeting 20-18 on his way to his second Super Bowl, but Brady overall got to hoist more Lombardi trophies. Beginning at 1 p.m. this Saturday, Fish will be grilling brats and popping beers, topped off with a big screen replay of that AFC Championship game. Admission is $20 and will go to keep Manning's Hall of Fame plaque polished until he's joined by Brady in 2028.
All right, enjoy the games. We'll see you next week on Sports and Other Stuff. So long for now. Bye-bye.